I did a design exercise in black and white, and now I'm going to play around with it in colour. So these are the examples that I did in black and white, just looking at values and different marks and leading just simple compositions to lead the eye around the composition. I have created 4 different types of paper here. I've got a light value with light yellow, and I've just sort of made a few sort of marks on here so it's not exactly flat. Then I've got a darker yellow. I've got a bluey greeny colour with some creamy marks on, and I've got more bluey green, but this time a little bit more sort of saturated, more yellowy. And I've got a dark browny colour with some blue marks on it, and I have a almost black, very dark blue with some browns and yellows and blues in it as well. So all the colours are quite harmonious. I'm going to use heavy gel medium, and I'm just going to construct a composition. So let's play the music and see what we can put together. So I've just got a couple of shapes here that I quite like, and I'm putting these together and arranging them in this little square. And I like to just stick them down and then go from there, so that I'm not constantly having to make 500 decisions. I like to make a decision and then move on. And because I've got that nice little curve and point on those things, I want on those shapes to the right, I want a straight edge to contrast with that, so that's why I've got this shape going here. Anyway, we'll see what we make with this little composition. So the reason I've got the yellow in those little holes is because that colour will help link the left hand side of that composition to the right by using that same colour. And now I'm making sure with this little piece here that it's different from the other pieces. It's much smaller and it's a different colour. But I'm going to link it to the bottom by using a bit of the same sort of paper, just as I did with the yellow. And because in this composition I've got such a large dark shape on the left, I need to have something to bring the eye over to sort of balance it. And by putting that curvy line, which is unlike anything else, that helps to do that. Okay, so the second composition, I've got this large dark shape, and I'm going to contrast it with the light shape on the right hand side. Now, without even thinking, I just sort of swiveled this little composition around, so now I'm working on it with this sort of orientation. But that's the beauty of working with a square. You can rotate it, and always looking to look for differences. So I've got a really large dark area, and now I want to add a bit of punch with a bit of bright saturated colour in a small shape to contrast with the large dark area. And these little bits of colour that I'm putting around the edge help to draw the eye to the edge so that we don't get just lost in the middle and with the yellow shape. We've got something else to look at as well. So in this composition, I really liked this yellow paper, and I decided that I would make the yellow paper the feature of this composition. So it's covering most of the real estate of this little square, and so that we can really see a lot of those marks, those brownie marks that are on top of it. So now, having done that, having created that shape, I now have to find different shapes to complete the composition. And now I'm just creating different shapes to put around it. So I've got a sort of a semicircle at the top. Now I've got a straight rectangle, which is very different from anything else, and then a tiny little square. So all the time I'm trying to move the eye around the composition and making sure that I don't repeat myself, so that every shape is different and offers a different type of experience to the viewer. And now for the fourth composition. This time I thought I would try and cover a lot more of the paper as I had done with the yellow one previously. So I just stuck down a large piece of the bluey green, and then I had a big shape of the dark colour, and so I thought I'd put that next to it and see where we go from here. And what I'm doing now is I'm actually creating negative shapes. I'm looking at the white paper, that the shape of the white that's in between the collage papers I'm putting on, and they're just as interesting as the painted shapes that I'm putting on here. So all the shapes so far have been quite wide, and this is a really skinny one, which is different from all the others. And then a tiny little detail, which is different from everything else as well. Always thinking about differences. Okay, and having done worked on 4 different compositions, I then wanted to come back to the first one that I did and just do a little bit more. This is the beauty of working on more than one at a time, because what you learn from the others you can apply to your previous work, and it makes it better. I'm still balancing that big dark shape on the left hand side with some more dark on the right. And just adding a few more details to this one as well. I'm just cutting shapes to cut into some of the darker shapes there, so I'm layering up here with the collage. And that was a really fun exercise, and it's given me ideas for compositions. It's really something that I'd like to explore further. So have a go. Make yourself some papers and draw yourself up some squares and see what you can create. It's fun.